Happy Wednesday morning, everybody. Welcome into Morning JOX. Conrad Van Order and Damian Mitchell here with you as, man, we have a jam-packed hour ahead of us as it was just an absolutely insane night of college basketball, not only in the SEC last night. Their winning streak gets snapped. Auburn, they finally look like the team that we've been waiting to see for about 2 months. You look around the rest of the country as well. I mean, you had big upsets. You've got Nebraska losing to UCLA. You got TCU beating Texas Tech. Arizona State beating Kansas. I mean, it was just absolutely fantastic night of college basketball. Regardless of what you were watching, you were probably pretty entertained. So we're going to get you up to date, everything going on there. We'll share the latest bracketology with you as well, because last night certainly had some implications for a number of teams, especially in the SEC. As we get closer and closer to Selection Sunday. And we'll sprinkle in a little college football talk as well, because I've got something that I want to bring up a little bit later on in the show. But, Damian, we have to start in the SEC, in the state of Alabama. And we'll go in chronological order last night, because one game was at dinner time and the other game was at bedtime. So that was fun. Thankfully, the latter of the two games went by pretty quickly and did not have a 25-minute delay because a shot clock broke like 3 different times.
Yes, they couldn't figure it out.
The actual game clock broke. It was weird there in Athens yesterday. But Alabama, they went up to take on a Georgia team that Georgia was still, I think pretty comfortably in the tournament as far as an at-large bid was concerned, but a win last night was obviously going to firmly secure that spot for them, and I would say the coast is now clear for the Georgia Bulldogs, because they pulled off a 10-point win over the Crimson Tide last night, 98-88, snapping Alabama's 8-game winning streak. So that was certainly a game where, if you remember, we shared with you what Nate Oates said before the game in terms of, essentially, kind of calling out his team's maturity a little bit and saying, well, after, the stretch that we've been on, if we were to, an immature team would take this Georgia team for granted and going on the road to Athens for granted. And that's, to be fair, he was spot on, because that's what it looked like for a lot of the night for Alabama. But that doesn't mean that Georgia didn't play a heck of a basketball game. But rebounding, again, was an issue for Alabama. You got to give credit to Georgia. Their guys they wanted it more. That was kind of my big takeaway from watching the game. Georgia looked like they wanted it more. The guys looked hungrier, and Alabama looked like they, were probably feeling themselves a little bit and thought they'd just kind of roll the ball out there and continue to have success. Georgia, they also had 5 blocks last night. So defensively, again, neither of these teams are great defensively, but Georgia certainly stepped up when they needed to. You just go and look at what Georgia did offensively, because they shot the lights out. There's no question about it. When you shoot 45% from deep and you shoot over 50% from the floor for the game, you shoot almost 90% from the free throw line. Like that's really good all around. And Alabama didn't have a bad night shooting the basketball. It was just Georgia got off more shots and they made more shots when they needed to. And it felt like every time Alabama, especially in the second half, would kind of close the gap, make it around a 6-point game type thing. And you're like, man, all right, Alabama gets a stop. They go get a 3. It's a 1-possession game. This could get interesting. Georgia would find a way to hit a massive shot. And more often than not, it was Cannon Catchings who had, outside of what Darius Acuff did for Arkansas a couple of weeks ago, I'm trying to remember somebody having a better individual performance against Alabama this year than Catchings had last night. And I might be forgetting somebody that from earlier in the season, but all he did, he had 32 points last night, 7 of 13 from 3-point range. He also had 6 rebounds and a block. But man, this guy just didn't miss. He was hitting stupid threes.
Yeah.
Heat check threes.
Exactly. And especially in the second half where it's, okay, he has no business coming off of this screen when, Alabama's playing exactly how they needed to, and yet he's still throwing it up there. And it's nothing but net. That's the thing when, a confident shooter, when you see confident shooting like this, it does make the game of basketball fun. It's kind of one of those things of, I know that Alabama's losing right now, but this dude is playing out of his mind.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah, he's playing out of his mind. But to your point, too, this is the first time I think in the 8-game win streak that Alabama was on, that they ran into a buzzsaw. They got hit in the mouth. Like, it was kind of a, okay, yeah, this Georgia team is not here for fun and games. Like, they're not here for show. Like, this is it's almost like it was a tournament like atmosphere, because one, Georgia, they've had some bumps in the road. They've played a lot of competitive games, but I think their one real test was going to be against Alabama, just seeing if they could match with the pace, and they did. And, I mean, credit to Alabama. It wasn't like it was a bad performance, so to speak, where we come in here and think, like, oh, yeah, the Alabama team just couldn't win. Nah, Georgia was just hot. Like, it came to – they were just making shots.
Yeah.
And to your point, I mean, Blue Kane had some big shots there early on. Defensively, they just made it difficult for Alabama. And that was the first time in a while that it's okay. Yeah, they're Alabama's making shots at times, but they're hard-earned shots. Like, Georgia made them earn everything. But on the offensive side for Georgia, man, they were just, I mean, anything they looked at from three, it felt like it was going in. So it's just you ran into a great opponent, and you lost. Like, I don't feel as though this changes any of the expectations for me in Alabama, but it was just kind of one of those, hey, man, there's some things that you still need to iron out, but it's not the end of the world.
No, it's not. And if anything, maybe it's a good little reminder of, yeah, you're vulnerable. Like, you're still a vulnerable basketball team, and on any given night, especially in the SEC, someone can take you down. So they fall again. Alabama falls 98-88 on the road there, and I mean, you just look at it. You got to give. I mean, again, you give Georgia credit. I mean, Alabama took 64 shots. Georgia took 66. Alabama made 16 3-pointers. Like, they weren't. I mean, they were still hitting them. It's just the fact of the matter that Alabama made 25 of their shots total. They made 9 shots that weren't 3-pointers.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Georgia made 13 3-pointers. They shot 45%, but they made 23 shots that were not 3-pointers. So, I mean, again, you live and die by it, but when you had a team that, I mean, blocks made a difference last night. You know, like, those are the kinds of plays right there where those are, potentially 4 or 5 different shots that could have gone in, and maybe you have a tie game or one possession game late, but I mean, credit where credit's due. Georgia wanted it more, and so they walked out of there with a victory last night. And it just, Alabama they looked a little lethargic at times, and I know a lot of people pointed this out on social media, but yes, at the end of the first half, they did go out on defense after a timeout with only 4 players on the court. So that's the kind of stuff where you're just like, we're just doing stupid stuff. Great. Like, this is just there's no excuse for that. And then, I mean, the most predictable, I was texting with somebody during the game last night. Nate Oates has gotten so predictable, I feel like, when he's going to get teed up, because anytime that Alabama is playing against I guess what we would consider maybe an inferior opponent, and, that team goes on a little bit of a run, they go up 8 to 10 points, Nate Oates is getting teed up. And I get it. He's trying to motivate the guys, and it's worked, I guess, more often than not. But I mean, when that happened last night, I saw that one coming from a mile away. Yeah. You've gotten to where you can predict it with him. Man loves a technical foul, but it works sometimes. So
sometimes
I guess it is what it is there. But credit to Georgia as they get a nice win. Alabama now, they fall to 22-8 on the season, 12-5 in the SEC. Georgia now 21-9. And they are 9-8 in the SEC and should be firmly in the bracket for NCAA tournament. We did have a late game last night, though, and it actually got started on time, thankfully, at 9 p.m. Shout out to Florida for taking care of business so that game could get started on time. But Auburn, now this is now we're talking a little bit. Now I get it. It's LSU. You should have done this.
Right.
And this is what you should have done to Ole Miss. Couple days ago, you should have done to Mississippi State, you should have done to Oklahoma, but you didn't. But you did it last night against LSU. So Auburn, they get the 88-74 victory there at home last night. And Todd Pettiford, man, he was an absolute monster last night. So in the first half alone, he had 10 points and he had 4 steals, which he would finish with 4 steals. But that was tied for a career high in the first half. So he was doing it in multiple ways there for the Auburn Tigers. He finishes with 27. He shot 10 of 16 from the floor, 4 of 7 from deep. Kevin Overton, he had 21, 4 of 6 from deep there. So the three-point shooting came along nicely for Auburn last night. They have made double-digit three-pointers, shot over 40%. You'll take that every single time there. And I thought defensively, I mean, part of it was just LSU being sloppy as well, but they made some good plays defensively, forced 16 turnovers there for LSU. And that was really in the first half. You know, I didn't feel like Auburn was shooting the ball great, but they were playing good defense and they were causing turnovers. And so they were limiting how many opportunities LSU had, and that allowed them to be up 7. And then they came out in the second half, and it was, you know, anywhere from if it fluctuated between what, like an 11 and an 18-point lead for most of the second half, it felt like, and Auburn just kind of went on cruise control, but they were in control of the basketball game. And so that was a must-needed win there. Again, that's not a win that we'll get to the bracketology side of things here in a little bit, but you know, that's not a win that's like, oh, Auburn's back in the tournament now, because that's a bad LSU team that they beat last night. But I think it has to give you a little more confidence going into Saturday and the IBOB Part 2 that maybe this team they woke up a little bit and they looked hungry last night. That looks like a team that wanted to fight for a chance to make the NCAA tournament, whereas against Ole Miss the other night, that's not what I saw.
That's exactly how I took away this LSU game. It was, okay, this Auburn team, it was the first time they played with desperation. Like, it was you could tell that this game meant something, and understandably, LSU is not a good basketball team. That is the truth. But also, this is what you needed to show the committee and pretty much show everybody that when you're playing these teams like this, you go out there and handle your business the way that you need to. Auburn was aggressive on both sides of the floor. I think Tahad Pettiford, we got pretty much one of the best versions of him that we got all season long, where it didn't feel like he was just scoring points in garbage situations. This game was controlled by Auburn from the tip, and it never really felt like LSU was clawing back. Now, did they make it difficult for LSU? Yes. But also LSU was sloppy. Like you said, they were sloppy with the basketball at times. But I think for Auburn, you just needed something to right the ship. Like, not, again, this win isn't necessarily going to help you as far as, you know, I wouldn't add this into the thesis of why we should be in the NCAA tournament, but you got to win nonetheless. Now, and to your point too, it gives you a little bit of confidence of who knows what may happen on Saturday in the Iron Bowl of basketball Part 2. But you got some things, like you got a Kevin Overton sighting. Like, you got some of your pieces around your superstars to play at a higher level. You need to see it, but also it's so hard to take away from this game when LSU is just not good. Like, LSU is just not a good basketball team.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to translate to Saturday, but it makes you could convince yourself now that it might.
Right. It's easier to have this conversation after a win than we're coming here today saying that Auburn lost to LSU again. Like, then you know everything is just in the dumps. Well, now it's, okay, well, there's a sense of a pulse. There's a pulse in this Auburn team, and they needed to find it. And granted, again, the quality of opponent, you just play who's on your schedule. That's all that matters. Because, again, if you would have handled your business against Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, then we'd be having a different conversation. But you finally showed us that, okay, you can play at a higher level against an inferior opponent. It's just now can you parlay that into again, another must-win situation on Saturday against your biggest rival. And who knows? Because Alabama just lost against Georgia, you're kind of thinking, hey, anything could possibly happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anything could happen. But Auburn got to win. That's the positive. That is the one positive takeaway that we can take away. We can come away with from this ball game. But also, again, LSU's not good.
No, they're not. And yeah, they're not a good basketball team, but at the same time, I think if you're Auburn, right, sometimes it's like, you know, when you have a shooter that's having a bad night, it's like sometimes you just need to go to the free throw line and see one go in. Like, I think if you're Auburn, you just need to get a win. Like, you needed to beat one of these teams and remind yourself, like, okay, we're not in the bottom tier of the SEC. We might have played like it for a month and a half, but when we actually, you know, when we pick ourselves up, like, we can go and play some basketball. And we'll see. They've got an opportunity on Saturday. If they're able to beat Alabama, they might find themselves back in the NCAA tournament. But I'll just be honest. I think if you're on the Auburn side of things, you probably wish Alabama didn't lose last night because now you're like, oh, okay, they might have a little chip on their shoulder. And I would imagine the next couple of days of practice, Nate Oates is not going to be taking it easy on them. So it should be a lot of fun there as the iBob Part 2 will close out the regular season coming up on Saturday. So that game will be in Tuscaloosa. It'll be at 7:30 on Saturday night. It'll be 7:30 tip there on ESPN. Should be a lot of fun, and we'll break that game down a little bit more here over the next couple of days. So Alabama, their winning streak snapped. Auburn, maybe they're starting another winning streak. That certainly would need to be the case if they're going to make the NCAA tournament. But what else happened around the Southeastern Conference last night, and what does it mean for the latest bracketology coming up? We'll break it all down for you. It was a wild night of college hoops. So much more for us to get to here on Morning Jocks. 6:21 here on a Wednesday morning. Welcome back in to Morning JOX. Conrad and Damian with you until 7 o'clock. We will hand you off to McElroy and Kublik at that time, but we still have so much more to get into as it was a wild night of hoops across not only the SEC, but the entire country last night as Georgia, they take down Alabama 98-88 there in Athens, and Auburn, they get a much-needed win over LSU last night, a 14-point win there in Neville Arena, 88-74. And we got a big one coming up for another team in the state tonight as UAB, they will travel to Charlotte with fourth place in the American Conference on the line. And as we all know, that's important because that gives you the double bye. And we know UAB certainly wants to get that. But the good news is they are playing on the road, and that has been their bread and butter this year. So hopefully UAB will be able to get a big win tonight as we get closer to the American Conference tournament. That'll be right down the road here before we know it. But before we get into the rest of the slate from last night, we do want to tell you about our friends at Train because with flu season still hanging around and pollen season now right around the corner, you want to make your home healthier with Train's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. It removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles that cause allergies and virus. It's 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. So go find a dealer near you today at train.com. All right, looking around the rest of the SEC real quick, and this is what I love, is John Mack chimed in on the JOX text line this morning, 205-834-9450, and I see the rest of you, and we'll get to you here in just a moment. But see, this is the kind of stuff I love. Like John Mack, if you're not familiar, if you haven't listened to the show a lot, he loves Texas A&M, like an absolute, just loves them. He's also a hater. Like he hates everything that's not Texas A&M. And look, I support that, right? You love your program, you love your school, and even when they're bad, you're going to act like they're the best thing ever because that's the only thing that brings him joy. And that's fine. I respect that. We know what John Mack is. He's very entertaining. But he hits the text line this morning, and he goes, so how soft were those Fighting Texas A&M Aggies last night, Conrad? Well, Texas A&M did get a win last night. They beat Kentucky 96-85. A Kentucky team that, as we all know, has been arguably the most disappointing team in college basketball this year based on how much money they're spending on their roster. And I'm not taking away the fact that, Texas A&M won the basketball game. They're going to make the NCAA tournament, and that certainly helped them last night. How many ranked teams do you think Texas A&M has beaten this year, Damian?
Was Auburn ranked at the time when they played them? I'm going to say at least one.
That would be 0.
Oh, okay.
They have not beaten a single ranked team this year, on top of the fact that, as we remember, they had a embarrassingly weak non-conference schedule where they played juggernauts such as UCF.
Let's go.
SMU. I'm not even going to get into the Manhattans and Montanas of the world, but you can see there they really challenged themselves in the Power 4 level in the non-conference, and they have now gone into SEC play where before this they had gone 2-6 in their last 8 games, and they have not beaten a ranked opponent all year. So congratulations on the win last night, John Mack. Please, let's keep this in check, though. I love Bucky. He did a great job at Samford, obviously did a great job at Mountain Brook before that. I'm rooting for Bucky, which is hard for me to do because I despise Texas A&M with every fiber of my being, largely because of John Mack and the Milkmen. But we'll see how you do in a couple weeks.
let's take a step
Let's
back.
Pump the brakes a little
and
bit.
Look at the whole picture.
Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's pump the brakes. But outside of Texas A&M, which in all seriousness, that did help them in their NCAA tournament standing, and that was a big win for Bucky. I mentioned it earlier. Florida, they crushed Mississippi State by 34.
God's almighty.
Yeah, they're the best. They're just undoubtedly the best team in the SEC, and
they leave no doubt.
I think they have proven themselves to be in the same tier with Michigan, Duke, Arizona, maybe UConn's in there, and I would say they're probably the 4th best team. They're, in my opinion, they should be a number 1 seed.
I agree.
They have won 10 games in a row. They are just they're stupid good.
Yeah.
They're very, very good.
What they did to Arkansas on Saturday was kind of the eye opening of, okay, yeah, they're locked in.
Well, last night you saw that coming, like maybe not by 34, but okay, they're going to go and they're going to handle business at home, but what they did to Mississippi State last night is exactly what they did to Arkansas
Right.
over the weekend. So that was pretty crazy. Tennessee, they get a big win over South Carolina by almost 20. They win 78-59. So again, not a very it's a bad South Carolina team, but you got to win those
Handling
games.
business.
Yeah, handling your business. How about this one though? Vanderbilt and Ole Miss. This game actually went into overtime. So Ole Miss, they were kind of just like a little leg up, it felt like, on Vanderbilt for a good chunk of the game. But Vanderbilt, they pull off the win 89-86. So that was an absolutely fantastic game going on. That was kind of sandwiched in between the Alabama and Auburn games, if you were able to catch some of it. But how about Tyler Tanner, man? He had 34 points last night for Vanderbilt and leading them to victory. It was just absolutely insane. He had 10. Vanderbilt scored 13 points in overtime. Tanner had 10 of them. That's winning basketball right there. So that was a nice win there for the Commodores. And you got to give credit to Ole Miss, though. They're showing some life here, even though they don't have a whole lot left to play for. But got to give credit there to Chris Beard getting his guys ready. And we talked about it, and you called it yesterday. But Oklahoma, they pull off the upset of Mizzou, 80-64. So they Mizzou got Auburn.
Yeah, and Oklahoma was favored. Oklahoma was favored going into the game, and I'm sitting there just
they won by 16.
Right. It's like, all right, Missouri, don't necessarily sleep on Oklahoma, but I wasn't expecting them to lose by 16 on the road, especially not at Oklahoma.
No, and I mean, look, we know Oklahoma, they like to fill it up from three. Like they can be a competent basketball team. It's just Missouri's
right.
Missouri should be, I guess going into the game they were the 4th seed in the SEC, and
yeah. It's like, come on, man, what are we doing?
Yeah, so it was a wild night. Again, not to be a broken record, but there was a lot going on, and it's because you had 7 SEC games going on. So you had 14 of the 16 teams in action tonight. Tonight you got Texas and Arkansas. That's the only SEC game you got going on tonight. That's a 6:00 tip. Arkansas is a 7.5 point favorite in that one as it stands right now. But quickly, an updated look at the standings in the conference. Florida, they're number 1. No surprise there. Alabama, they are 12-5. They're the 2 seed. So if they beat Auburn on Saturday, they will be guaranteed the number 2 seed overall. Also, if Arkansas loses either tonight or on Saturday, Alabama will still be the number 2 seed as well. So you can win on Saturday and secure it for yourself, or if Arkansas drops one of the next 2 games, that'll secure it for the Crimson Tide as well. But even though worst case scenario for Alabama, they should not fall past the 4 seed, or actually the 3 seed, from what I understand. So that double bye is looking good to go for the Crimson Tide in the SEC tournament. But you've got Arkansas in 3rd place, Tennessee 4th, Missouri 5th, Vandy 6, A&M 7, Kentucky 8. That's the top half of the conference. And if we look down at Auburn, they are currently 11th. So they are right behind the Georgia Bulldogs in the SEC standings. But we'll break down a little bit of the bracketology for you as well, because we did have a little bit of movement there from things going on around the country. And so we'll bring you the latest on that. We also want to hear your text, your thoughts, 205-834-9450 as we roll along here on a Wednesday edition of Morning JOX. 6:34 here on your Wednesday morning. Welcome into Morning JOX. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell here with you for next 20, 25 minutes or so as we continue to recap a big night around the world of college hoops. Going to give you the latest bracketology, and then we are going to hear from you at 205-834-9450. Some of you chiming in on the text line, some of you calling in, and we will get to you momentarily. But I told you we'd give you the latest bracketology, so let's do that real quick, and then we'll get your takes on what happened last night. So nothing changed on the one line last night. This is all based on Joe Lunardi. So some other stuff will come out later today, of course. But you have on the 2 line, you have Florida securely up there as the number 5 overall seed. So maybe still potential you see if they win the SEC to maybe bump up there to the 1 line. You did have a situation last night. So on the 3 seed line, because we talked about for Alabama, right? They had kind of positioned themselves to be the top 4 seed. And so if one thing happened with one of the teams in front of them, Alabama would be a candidate to move up. That was also contingent on them beating Georgia, which they did not do last night. But if you are just looking at who's ahead of Alabama, Nebraska, they lost to UCLA last night. So this came out before that game went final, but you have to imagine that doesn't hurt, right? If you're Alabama and you can go and maybe win a couple games in Nashville in the SEC tournament. So Nebraska falls there. Alabama's still on the 4 seed line. They would be the number 14 seed, according to Joe Lunardi. So you have Nebraska ahead of them. They lost. Kansas ahead of them still. They lost. You have Texas Tech, who's right there. They lost last night as well. So, in terms of if you're thinking about seeding for Alabama, I guess the good news is you lost and everyone else lost that was kind of in that same group as you. You have Virginia up there as well in the 4 seed line. So we'll see if Alabama is able to do something in Nashville and kind of move themselves up. Then you have the 5 seeds. Right now, you got Tennessee and Arkansas. That's where both of those teams would land there. And then for the last 4 buys, you've got a couple of SEC teams here. This is where Missouri and Texas A&M are both currently sitting. So have to imagine that, they go and, just take care of business, win a game in the SEC tournament. Don't, lose your last couple of games going into it, and you should be just fine. So that's looking good there for them. And then as far as Auburn goes, this is what Joe Lunardi wrote last night on his last update. It says, finally, an Auburn win slots the Tigers just ahead of Indiana as the first team out. If they had lost, they would fall to the bottom of the first 4 out behind San Diego State. But obviously they won, and so they are now the first team out yet again for Joe Lunardi and his bracket. But you also had some movement there as VCU. They got a big win yesterday, and so they've now jumped up into, I guess, the last at-large bid, according to Joe Lunardi. So, that again, you needed to win the LSU game. That winning that game wasn't going to do anything crazy for you, but losing it was going to, that was it if you had lost. So, got a big opportunity against Alabama on Saturday. It'll be a top 25 opponent. It'll be a quad 1 game on the road. If you win that game, in my opinion, if Auburn wins on Saturday, they will be in the NCAA tournament. But you got to win the game.
That's the kicker.
You got to win the game.
Got to win it.
So that'll be a big one coming up at 7:30 on Saturday. Right now, 10 SEC teams slated to be in. Auburn would be 11 if they're able to find themselves back into the good graces. And for what it's worth, Oklahoma, they're in they would be, I guess, essentially the 11th team out right now. So they would have a lot of work to do.
Okay.
They'll need a lot of things to happen, but they're on the paper. Their name is on the paper.
They've made it.
Mama, we made it. So we'll see. But we'll see if Porter Moser can survive. It's been a bit of a disappointing year there.
It has.
For the Sooners nonetheless. But all right, let's get to the phone lines to get your reaction. 205-834-9450. We'll go to Mr. Don Don. He's been on hold for a while now. I know he's excited about his Auburn Tigers getting a big win last night. Don Don, how are we feeling about it?
A little bit better, guys, and everything. And plus, I had a good baseball win, and spring practice getting ready to start. So we got a little pulse left, guys.
That's right. Yeah, y'all beat Sanford, right? 6-2 last night, I believe, in baseball.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ranked number 7 in the country, and I believe Alabama had a good baseball win themselves, Conrad.
Yeah, I was about to say we're Alabama's no Auburn right now in baseball, but we're trying.
but hey, I always got equestrian to keep me happy too now. Okay.
That, you know what, you do always have that to fall back on. So how are you feeling about the game on Saturday, Don? Are you confident that Auburn's going to be able to go into Coleman and get a win, or how are you feeling about that game?
I'm not confident. No, I mean it'd be an upset. I don't. Do you happen to know the early line on the game?
I do not. I know we on Monday. I know we had reached out to Brian Edwards, and he'll be on 3-man front later, so I'm sure he'll give us an updated one then. But it was Alabama -10 on Monday. That would have been the line, so maybe changing a little bit now.
Well, would you like to give me about 15 points for a little fun bet?
Heck no, not 15 points.
No.
I'll give you like 3.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd take me up on that, Conrad.
No. I Alabama losing last night though. See if they respond the right way. That maybe puts a chip on their shoulder. But I mean, if Auburn plays like they did last night, they're gonna have a good chance to win, I think.
Yeah, that might have been Pettiford's best game of the year last night.
I would agree. Yep, he was great.
But hey, real quickly, guys, I know you guys were busy yesterday, but we had such a great day at Social Taco with Miss Beebe's birthday. And did y'all see the video of Burr walking in dressed as a birthday present?
Oh yeah,
that was great. Everything, but yeah, what we're gonna do, we're gonna start having everybody's birthday parties coming up, and next week I got a big invitation to everybody about a Stallions event. So we'll see you guys later, and thank y'all for letting me always call.
No problem, Don. Have a good rest of your day. We appreciate you chiming in, and your birthday's coming up, right?
Yeah, it's in April, late April. My birthday's on a Sunday though, so it's all good.
Well, BB's birthday wasn't yesterday. It's just,
it wasn't. I thought it was yesterday.
No, it's just this week.
Okay, I got you.
So I'm saying, like, well, if it's on Sunday, then you probably want to do it the Tuesday after because it's closer, right?
Maybe so.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it
all out. All right, let's go to Lee in Cincinnati. He wants to talk some SEC hoops. How we doing, Lee? You feeling good about your Gators?
Well, yeah, I'm feeling really good about my Gators, but to be quite honest with you, I'm feeling good about the SEC in general because I don't care what anybody says. The SEC, the reason that you have teams that have numerous losses, it doesn't matter what night, what teams play. You can never tell who's going to beat who every night because there's so much talent across the SEC. And if they get 11 teams in, I can tell you right now, at least 6 of those teams are going to make it to the second weekend. And the national championship champion is going to come out of the SEC. And I'm not saying it's going to be the Gators because the Gators have to be on top of their game every night to beat every other SEC team. That's the way it is. And if you've noticed, it's by the point differential. Teams aren't winning by 2 or 4 points. Teams are beating other teams by double digits, and you can never tell who it's going to be. And it's because the talent is so good. One team just has to be a little bit down, the other team up, and that's going to tell the whole entire story, and that's how it's going to play out through the NCAA tournament. The champion is going to come from the Southeastern Conference. I'd love to say it's the Gators, but as good as the talent is across the conference, I can't say that it's going to be the Gators. I have no confidence in saying that at all. But I do have 100% confidence saying that the SEC is going to produce a national champion this year.
So if it's not Florida, or if you had to pick somebody from the SEC besides Florida to win the tournament, since you feel good about the SEC, who would that team be for you if it wasn't
Alabama.
Alabama. Okay.
I would definitely say Alabama, yeah, just because Nate Oates has got that. And once again, but the Alabama has to be up every game in order to win. But if they are, I don't think there's anybody that can beat them except possibly Florida. But I would think it'd be great if it was a Final Four, nothing but SEC. That proved just how dominant the SEC is this year.
Yeah, that would be something, Lee. We appreciate you chiming in this morning. I like his confidence. You never say never. I would just say right now, me personally, I would probably say Florida's the only SEC team that could win a national championship.
You don't think Arkansas could? Darius Acuff, he has a.
My problem with Arkansas is when they lose, they get absolutely, embarrassed.
Yeah, that is true.
That's my thing. Like, I like Arkansas, and I could see. Again, you never know who's going to get super hot at the right time, but yeah. I guess I feel like in terms of over the course of the entire season, Florida, and I know they kind of started off, maybe not as strong, but now, like they're a buzzsaw. Everybody else, I'm like, I said it earlier in the year, and I hope that I end up looking stupid for saying this, but I mean, I said this a couple months ago. Like, I don't know if Alabama will ever win a national championship under Nate Oates just because of the style they play, and you're banking on a team that's going to shoot lights out 6 games in a row. Like, that's just it could happen. I hope it does. It very well may happen, but it's just hard to project that kind of thing to happen.
Yeah.
Where it's a little easier with a team like Florida, where the thing with Florida is like, well, if they start hitting more 3-pointers, then it's no competition. They're going to go and run through everybody. It's, it's
the style of play.
It makes it tougher, but I love Lee's passion and his enthusiasm for the SEC and his confidence.
It's coming through the SEC.
I hope
baby.
he's right. I hope he's right. He needs to give his Gators some more credit, though. I feel like he's trying to be he's trying to be modest about it. I'm like, no, the national championship goes through the Gators, man.
Exactly.
They're defending champs, and right now,
Florida got something to say.
Yeah, that's right.
Florida got something to say.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. All right, well, we'll get to more of your text, 205-834-9450. Some of you chiming in with more of your thoughts, so we'll get to those and more as we continue here on a Wednesday. You're listening to JOX.
6:49 here on Morning Jocks. Damien and Conrad here with you for a few more moments as we get you set for McElroy and Kublik in the morning. Listen, man, it's getting warm outside. You don't want to know. You might want to get out there and check on your roof. I know exactly who you need to call. That's my friends at Hometown Roofing and Restorations. Trust the experts with your roofing needs. Over 1,200 roofers in the Birmingham area. Make sure you call someone you can trust. Hometown Roofers is family-owned, grounded in faith, and community-oriented. Their customer satisfaction focused with your needs in mind, so you can count on honest communication. Listen, guys, the goal is to get it right the first time. If it's an insurance claim, call Hometown. They'll take the ball for you, so you don't have to worry about the red tape and back and forth with the insurance company. Only top quality materials. Hometown is certified with 2 of the best national brands of shingle, and they offer lifetime material warranties. Financing is also available. Wonder if you have an aging roof or roof damage, Hometown offers free inspections as well. Rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau, they can also handle siding, windows, gutters, and other minor remodels. Give them a call at 205-984-4777 or visit their website at htroofers.com. Again, that number is 205-984-4777 or visit their website at htroofers.com. Hometown Roofing and Restorations, do it right the first time.
Well, we'll put a bow on things today on the JOX text line. As we always love your interaction, love to hear from you, your thoughts, 205-834-9450. And that is where we go right now. So we'll start. Tim from Coleman, he chimed in this morning. He goes, I think we got yet another reminder last night that Alabama does not have anybody that can defend another team's most prolific scorer. That's why some of these guys keep having career nights against Alabama.
Some. Now, Josh Hubbard, he went for, 65 against Auburn one week, and then he came down to Coleman Coliseum, and it looked a little different, man.
I think a lot of it for Alabama, unfortunately, in my opinion, I think some of it just kind of comes down to effort at times where, I mean, yes, you don't have anybody that I would consider to be necessarily like a lockdown perimeter defender.
Ain't no Herb Jones is out there.
No, and I mean, it's like we've talked about with Auburn this year, right? They've been really bad defending the 3, and it's like, you would really love a Denver Jones kind of guy. It's like Alabama could really use a guy like that, but they don't necessarily have one. They can play good defense at times. Like you can see where Philon and Holloway and some of those guys, like they can lock in for, it feels like stretches of a game, but
yeah, well, you got Noah Williamson.
It's been difficult at times. Okay.
I'm saying he'll give you great effort.
Is that what we're calling that now?
It's just you'll play 4 on 5 on the offensive side.
He'll stand there. 9 glorious minutes he got last night.
Yeah, depth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Never mind. This guy says, you guys need to remind Don about Auburn's fishing team. They are one of the best in the country, and they just won the Collegiate Bassmaster Classic.
Okay.
There we go. WDE, baby.
Let's go. Is that like the national championship? That's not the national championship of fishing, is it? Or is it one? Is it like the SEC tournament?
We'll say it's the national championship.
Okay, we'll go with it.
I couldn't. I have absolutely no idea what that is.
Reel 'em in, baby.
Yep, ripping lips, right? Isn't that what they say?
Yes, sir.
I'm from Hayden. I should know more fishing terms. Let's. Oh, Richardson. Oh, gosh. This is such a good Noah Williamson text that I cannot read. But Richard from Hoover, he says, Barner's bragging about baseball on March 4th is hilarious. My, how quick the shine has come off of Pearl. To be fair, Auburn's baseball team is very good.
Yeah.
They are very good. So it should be a good year for them. I don't understand what. Okay. I don't understand that text, John Mack. I'm sorry. You lost. We already had fun with you earlier. Let's see. Jason chimes in. He says, man, Lee must be enjoying some mimosas early on this Wednesday morning. He says, I'll take the field on that bet. Lee, you're crazy, man. Talking about how he
thinks the SEC is going to.
An SEC team will win. And again, I don't think that's a hot take because I think we all agree that Florida can do that. It was just the fact that it was.
Who else can.
Yeah, he seemed confident that, well, if Florida gets knocked out, well, Alabama or Arkansas or, somebody else, they'll pick up the slack. Like, we'll see. We'll see. I like the confidence, though. This text rolls in. It says, sounds to me like Alabama basketball needs a little bit of length and girth. Well, thank you, Coach.
That's why I said Noah Williamson. He's got length and girth. Pause.
I hope he does. Because that would mean his social life was better than his athletic career. Drake chimes in. He says, "Congrats to my coach Todd Golden on his 100th win. That is very impressive." Yeah, Todd Golden, heck of a start to his time at Florida. We'll see if he can do the Billy Donovan and go back to back.
Yeah, they got a good chance.
We've seen it happen in our lifetimes. Let's see. This says Chad Baker Lasagna is available to come play defense for Alabama.
He's too old.
Does anybody? No, he's only 26.
Too old.
He's only 26. I can't wait for when we find out that there's been a lawsuit filed for him to get another. It's gonna happen, right? Because at this point, like, you might as well try.
Yeah, the worst they can say is no.
I don't think you would get it, but it feels like everybody's trying. So
just get that old temporary restraining order.
Yeah. Let's see. Robert chimes in. He says catching was averaging 10 points a game. Alabama was concerned about the other scorers. Well, at a certain point, you got to be worried about the guy that's doing it to you right there. He also adds, as the rough loss for Alabama, Georgia got a lot of breaks, but at least 3 seeds, Kansas and Nebraska, got beat. Yep, they certainly did. And then he says, Florida can win it all. Alabama and Arkansas are capable of making the Final Four if the bracket goes right. And then this one says, we love you guys. Great show. We'll appreciate it. We'll be back for another great show tomorrow at 6 a.m. Mac and Cube is up next.